Happy New Year! I have no fancy blowers or hats or anything, but I'm very happy to wish you a Happy New Year. I don't know about you, but the start of a new year just feels like a clean slate, fresh start, all of those wonderful things. And so I get very pumped up about setting usually very ambitious writing goals for myself, and then halfway through the year, I might review them and then get discouraged because I didn't do any of them. So does it make sense to set any goals at all? Well, here's my philosophy that I've developed over a number of years, not only as a regular writer setting goals, but also teaching workshops on goal setting for writers. And one of the things that I have learned is if I don't set goals, then I have no guidance. It's very similar to my new thing about planning out a story. I may change that plan, but having something laid out in front of me does wonders for my confidence and gives me a plan. So I do set goals. I love setting goals. Sometimes I get too crazy about it, but it's just exciting to think about what does the year hold for me, or what can I create in this new year. So a couple of guidelines I've set down for myself are, the very first one is it a goal I can accomplish totally on my own? That means I have complete control over the success or failure of that goal. For example, a goal I might set is complete a version of my picture book to send to my agent. Total control over completing that version, doing the revisions, getting feedback, getting another revision in, and sending it out, all in my control. That's a great goal. If I say instead, my goal is to get a picture book accepted by a publisher, I'm probably setting myself up for failure. Not necessarily because I won't get a book accepted, but because part of that goal involves somebody else's decision making. So I don't want any of my goals connected to somebody else, and I have to wait for them to make a decision. All my goals are about what I can do and what I have control over. My second guideline is that I set goals that I feel are achievable. So I used to go really crazy and I might have 15 goals on my list. Well, then when I started looking at what each one would involve, then it got too crazy. So I really look at limiting my goals to something really manageable that allows for flexibility in terms of what might happen in my life. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing I do is give myself permission to change. I look back at my goals from 2 years ago. I was checking on goals that I had written down, and it was talking about a book that I'm not even looking at anymore, that I'm not working on. So give yourself permission to change course, and don't be afraid to make those changes. And the other thing is to make sure that you're checking your goals on a regular basis. This year, which I've never done, usually I check halfway through the year and then at the end of the year. But this year, I'm going to be looking at them monthly, and I'm going to make adjustments as my interests change, as my passions change, all of that kind of thing. So I'm going to do that and make sure that each of those, that I'm on top of my goals and that I'm making changes accordingly. And also, the last thing I do is I look at not just what was on my list that I accomplished that year when I get to looking at it at the end of the year, but what else did I do that wasn't even on the list? Give yourself credit for everything that you're doing. Whether it's you read extra books, you signed up for a class, you wrote a blog post and that wasn't on your goal list. All of those things count, and give yourself credit and pats on the back. So I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous year, and I'm so happy to be a part of your year, and I hope I will continue to be as I keep doing these quick tips for 2018. See you next time on Picture Book Quick Tips.